Matthews in Los Angeles. Thanks for being with us. Could you explain to us what exactly was the reason why Weinstein's conviction was overturned?
Yeah, it seems very complex, but it really isn't. The bottom line is an appeals court judge said that the trial judge should not have allowed all of the evidence that they allowed in. The bottom line is he was convicted because certain women came forward for a specific case in New York. However, that judge allowed other women who also made allegations to come forward and tell their story. The problem with that is that those women had nothing to do with the particular case that he was being tried for. And so now the judge is saying it was unfair and you were allowing in prior bad acts that were unrelated to the current case in which he was being tried for. And so now they're left with deciding, should we retry Harvey Weinstein, which we already know the DA has already said he will do that.
Okay, so a lot of the public has been taking this as shedding doubt on whether or not Weinstein was guilty in this case, but you're saying that's not what it's really about here.
No, you should not walk away saying that this judge is saying that Harvey Weinstein is not guilty. That's a totally separate entity. What this judge is saying is that the trial was not fair to him, but the judge is not saying that he's not guilty. So we have to look at two separate things there, that there was evidence brought in that should not have been brought in. Therefore, it interrupted his ability to have a fair trial, which every individual in America is entitled to.
And Weinstein was accused by dozens of women. This isn't even the only conviction, a rape conviction that he's faced. He's actually in prison due to another rape conviction. So does this ruling have any practical consequences for Weinstein?
Yeah, as you just heard, he was convicted of rape and sexual assault in California, to which he was sentenced to 16 years. So he was supposed to serve out that time once he finished his time in the state of New York. However, now that that case has kind of been tossed aside and he's still in prison in upstate New York, they may end up shipping him over to California to start serving that time until they retry him again in New York. So he's not getting out of prison. He may shift prisons, moving from upstate New York to California, Los Angeles, California, to be more precise. But he's not getting out of prison anytime soon.
And what are people saying in Hollywood about this ruling?
Ashley Judd, she really is the woman who came forward with accusations against Harvey Weinstein back in 2017 first. And she was just saying, it's a bad day in America for women. She was really, really shocked and said, we're not entitled to our body, to which Harvey Weinstein's attorney held a presser today, basically saying it's a great day in America, that people can now have a fair trial, that he doesn't believe he's above the law, but he also doesn't believe that Harvey Weinstein is beneath the law. So he thinks this is great moving forward and entitles everybody to have a fair trial. But of course, all of the women that have come forward in the past and made allegations against Harvey Weinstein are very disappointed at today's ruling.
A lot of people said when these accusations against Weinstein came forward that this was just the tip of the iceberg, that there was actually an underlying sexist culture prevailing in Hollywood. Has this culture changed at all in the years since we've seen these first accusations against Weinstein?
What's interesting? Weinstein kicked off the Me Too movement. And then after that, you had a lot of people who came forward in Hollywood and talked about the sexual harassment, sometimes sexual assault that certain powerful people in Hollywood had done to them. You will remember Bill Cosby. And then certainly after that, you had there was R. Kelly, and now even recently you're having P. Diddy, and there's a number of other people. And that happened for years and years and years, but it's been almost 7 years. So I think what I've seen that's really changed in Hollywood that's interesting is a lot of companies have put in procedures and practical ways that people who feel they may be being sexually harassed or don't or feel intimidated can come forward and now speak to HR, or there are, hotlines, anonymous hotlines they can call. I don't know if it's changed all of the culture in Hollywood. I think that sexual harassment is pervasive in a lot of different fields and industries, not just Hollywood. So, we go through ebbs and flows. So we'll just have to see what happens when he's retried and see how Hollywood responds to that.
We often talk about Weinstein as disgraced Hollywood producer. You hear this all the time, disgraced Hollywood mogul. But does he still have some supporters in Hollywood?
His lawyers. His lawyers are his supporters. And if there are people in Hollywood that still support Harvey Weinstein, let me tell you, they're keeping their mouth shut. They are not coming forward. They are not speaking out. All you're hearing are people who are against Harvey Weinstein and really believe that this many women could not be lying. Obviously, there was a problem and that he should be punished for his actions. Anybody that feels differently than that is not coming forward and is not being public about it, at least in Hollywood.
Okay, well, it sounds like we will be hearing more about Harvey Weinstein in the future. KJ Matthews, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.